Well, I'm back. It's been a rough road. I just want to share with you some things that will combine what I learned from my cancer journey, as well as so called resolutions for 2024. I'll link both of the or all of the cancer journey updates that I did below, or maybe just check the playlist for that. I'll create a playlist. But if you followed my journey, you know that I had a relapse, that the first mass was pretty much non-cancerous, but 6 months later, they found a new growth. So I went ahead and went through chemo and radiation. And I just finished that up on February 1st. So I wasn't feeling well. I was blessed that the chemo pills they don't cause nausea, and they didn't cause me to get numb in the feet and hands, but I did turn black on my hands and feet, and I did have some low-grade nausea that I didn't really want to eat. Now, I didn't lose no weight from that, so didn't get that benefit. Anyway, so the challenge from a spiritual standpoint was the fact that there was nothing I could do to control it. I've been working on my trauma response control issues for well over a decade now, but things keep creeping up. And in this situation, I had to admit that, hey, look, I can't do a thing about this. And so on a spiritual level, the first time they found the lump, I grew into humility. So the first time they found it, I learned how to be humble before God and just accept the fact that I can't control this. And I even came to a point where I told him, Lord, and this is the first time around, if I'm going to go through this, then I need you to take control. And I asked him to be there when the tumor committee decided what they were going to do. I asked him to be there as my surgeons were deciding what to do. I asked him to be there in the operating room. So I had to humble myself and say, I can't control this. It's not a darn thing I could do. But it was serious enough that I knew that I didn't want to do the wrong thing, especially having lost my sister to a stage 4 colon cancer diagnosis. So I pretty much over time gave it to him, and I told him this, and this is where I just got my greatest peace, was, Lord, if I'm going to leave here by any mistake of a human being, that's not going to be acceptable. But I'm giving the whole thing to you so that you can guide the treatment plan, because if I die, I die. I can accept that. But I don't want to do that because somebody with a belly button made a mistake. So that's where I left that. And that's when, in the first cancer video, I said that the doctor changed his mind and didn't do the major surgery. Well, when it showed up again, I kept saying, well, I should have gone through chemo and everything the first time and I wouldn't be here. But my surgeon and my tribe told me, you can't sit here and be saying what you should have, could have, didn't do. Because the matter is that you didn't do that. And so we can't waste energy on something you can't change. And so then I decided, okay, I'm not going to focus on that. I'm just going to go ahead and do this treatment. Now, at the time that they found the tumor and did the biopsy, even the biopsy that they did during removal of that, which would have been my second surgery, they said it was a T2. Now, the MRI said it was not in the lymph nodes, and there was no indication it had spread at that point. But the doctor is saying, well, we don't know. So, well, anyway, they blasted all of the lymph nodes. They blasted where I had the 2 surgeries. I had 28 radiation chemo treatments. And so we're just going to have to wait and see from here what goes on. I'm just believing for a full recovery and not to have to go through this anymore. But the whole idea during this second go round where it came back, then the spiritual focus became surrender. I don't know. I just found myself saying to him, I surrender, I surrender. And nothing had changed. So I had a choice of going with the major surgery or just having the tumor excised. And I just stood on the fact that it wasn't me that called off the first surgery. I believe that God caused that to happen. And so at that point, I felt like, we don't need to rip out my entire colon, my entire rectum. So I still have it, but we're just going to have to see where this goes from here. I'm really hoping for a better outcome. The challenge for my family was the fact that I didn't want anybody sitting around looking sad and look like I was circling the drain and feeling sorry for me. And generally, when I was in that kind of pain, I just really wanted to wrestle it through myself. So my family, they struck a stellar balance of respected my privacy and being supportive. I know my kids wanted to be here and everything. I wouldn't even let my girlfriend, Debbie, who was there when I got the first diagnosis, I wouldn't even let her take me back and forth. I was able, by God's grace, to drive myself back and forth every single day to my treatments. And so that's what I did. But even in that, I had to recognize that sometimes you have to allow people in your life, even when your control issues say, I'm going to do this by myself. Control issues, y'all, as trauma's virus, we got to watch that mess because it'll get you on so many levels. But as I brought in 2024, my focus is simply this. If the Lord say jump, I'm going to be saying how high midair. How high? I'm not going to focus on anything that's not purpose driven. So in other words, as I can, one of my former students, she became a friend of mine. When I was talking to her, she wasn't there for each blow by blow like my sister was and like my kids were, but she thought I was kind of being in denial or maybe avoidance because all I could say to her was that God spared my life, which is something that wasn't afforded my baby sister. And so I'm going to focus on what do I need to do? Where do I need to stand? What do I need to see in order to fulfill my God-ordained destiny? In other words, I don't want another person in the kingdom or in the world, universe, if that's what you want to call it, to go without because I was the divine connection for something they needed, but I was stuck on stupid. Full stop. I just don't want to be stuck on stupid anymore. That this is not about me. This is about the people I'm supposed to reach, and I need to be on my square. I need to be positioned so that if the Lord wants to use me to get them any kind of freedom in their minds or in their mental health or even financial resources, if that's what he chooses to do, I need to be in the position so that he can channel those things to other people. And I really want to step up my speaking during 2024. I've picked up some things. In fact, I'm trying to get this in real quick before I do a presentation that I have scheduled for in about an hour. But I really want to get out there on some more stages and do more speaking engagements this year. From a spiritual standpoint, hey, I'm still here, and I'm grateful every day that God spared my life. I'm grateful every day that I get to continue to raise my little kitty cats who are always busy chomp, 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 and making noise while I'm trying to make videos. But I love them, and that's another thing I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that I'm going to get my voice back. I'm still a little hoarse from the thyroid removal thingy, but I'm looking forward to getting back into speech pathology and getting my voice back. I'm looking forward to enjoying life. Okay, y'all, I done said this to y'all 100 times, but this time for real. Maybe I'll start dating this year. And boy, will that be a chronicle. That'll be a whole separate playlist for y'all. Something to laugh at. But maybe I'll even do some of that this year. But I'm not going to isolate like I had been. And I told my daughter she's going to see more of me than she ever wanted to this summer, because I'm going to be tearing up the road back and forth to see my grandkids. I'm going to quit isolating. I need to get out and live. I mean, all that time that I've been just sitting in the house, I could be out there having some fun and spending time with family. And that's what I plan on doing in 2024. Anyway, that's a quick update. I don't have a whole lot to say, but I'm going to cut this short right now and start planning some videos for you guys. But always remember that your greatest power is realized in the truth of who you are. Be grateful for your health. Be sure to go get your colonoscopies. I repeat, go get your colonoscopies. And I'll see you on the backside.